Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our small game here. As you can read in the title, this is going to be yet another tutorial for RimWorld. Today we're going to look very briefly, well, not exactly too briefly, at the work tab, along with restrict. We may look at assign. We'll probably definitely look at animals as well, as this kind of goes into the restrict in a way. So if you remember in the last video, I was talking about zones and areas here. Well, we're just going to talk about restrict real quick. Some of these zones and areas, especially the allowed area, are for animals and for some of these buttons here. So we're just going to pause to remove any of the background noise there. And some of these areas are restricted or allowed areas. So as you can see, the home one that is automatically generated, or you can define yourself, can be selected, and this will keep all of your colonists within that area. You also have area 1, which we'll go define real quick just to show as an example. For example, if we want to just stay up here, as you can see, this can only draw, what is that, 50 at a time? Yeah, 51 at a time. So, just have to keep boxing it out here. And this is just in case we don't want them to go any further south than this. They'll stay in this general area. So if we go ahead and restrict them by just clicking and dragging, pretty easy, we'll see that they won't go any further. I'll just kind of stay up here, but we don't want to do that quite yet. So, going back to the Architect tab. This also applies for animal areas, in case we want to just keep some of our animals here in our weird crypto sleep / fire chamber thing that we've got going on here. So we just go to the Animals tab and click Animals Area 1. Pretty simple. This is a great way for keeping your animals out of your food, keeping them in safe areas, especially if alpha beavers show up. They'll just kind of gobble anything they want, basically. So this will keep this little doggy right indoors here, and he, of course, keep in mind that he won't be able to move anywhere else, so he won't be able to go eat. You'll have to have someone bring food to him, essentially. Just keep that in mind. If we look back at the restrict tab here, we can see that we set up our regime earlier, so we want to give them about 8 hours of sleep, and then in the morning they're unrestricted to do anything they want. Then they work for 4 hours, 2 more hours unrestricted, work for 4 more hours, total of 8. Good old American work numbers there. You can also define them to do joyous activities. I don't know, I don't really do this. I figure if they need joy, they can go do that on their own. But this will come in, like I said, on the Architect here. They'll play horseshoes, they'll use the chess table, they may just sit down, whatever brings them joy. May be alone, actually. They're a loner. They may just sit alone in their room, and that might bring them joy. Alright, next we're going to go into the first one here, the Work tab. Now this kind of looks a little complicated, and when you first start the game this will kind of be not very filled out. It'll actually look like this. And all I did there was just turn off the manual priorities. So we'll go ahead and go into the default mode here, which is just the you will do this job in order from left to right here. So if we want to allow, for example, the surgeon here to be a doctor, we're going to put a tick mark in there, and that's a good idea. Certain things like doctoring, what else? Constructing can fail. Obviously, medical operations can fail as well. Smithing, tailoring, art, crafting, those will all, for example, here we got someone who's 11 out of 20, so they're going to make better quality things compared to someone who's 4 out of 20 here. The same thing with construct, so you typically want to keep your constructors, or this is a freaking architect, really good at constructing and art, so, you know, figures architect. So we'll leave them on that. But what I like to do usually is I'll actually set these manual priorities, which will allow you to essentially define what you want them to do first from 4 to 1. So 4 is the lowest priority. We want to have everybody firefight and be a patient first. We want to have them bed rest, which will make them sleep. For example, if they get an infection, they'll go sleep. Increases their healing or reduces their healing time rather. We want to have the surgeon doctor first. And then after here, I usually, things that I want them to do, flicking's good to have on 1. That'll basically make them flick things. So, boop, see that she was hauling something. So if we look on here, hauling's pretty far down here. The next thing to do was obviously to flick. So it just kind of goes left to right, scans for work jobs to do. Pretty simple concept here. You want to keep your, most of the time I'll keep like people that are maybe not art, but Growing, yeah, you can be first priority on that. I'll also give you that on plant cut. Cooking, it's not, sometimes prereqs for cook, like more than simple meals, will require a higher level cook, so maybe leveling your cooks is a good idea in this case. Handling, you kind of want to maybe put on the back burner. It takes a lot of time, and there's usually better things to do than training animals. So this is, I usually keep this on 4. It's just something good to do after you're done with everything else. So if you ever want to like just rush hauling, for example, I usually just set this to 1. And this is typically why I keep all of these jobs on 2. I know I set them to 1 there, but that's just so in a pinch you'd be able to schedule everybody to, for example, construct real quick. There's no construction jobs, so let's not worry about that. But that's the simple rundown of this. I'm just going to talk about some more of these real quick. Wardening is going to be taking care of prisoners, so this is going to be very important. Keeps them fed, tries to recruit them. Usually you want to keep someone who has good social skills, so our best one here is Mr. Or Mrs. Yeah, our surgeon, Miss Surgeon. You can see her social skills 5. That directly relates into her wardening abilities, 5 out of 20. So we'll keep that pretty high. Animal, that goes in with handling. This will train your pets. For example, if you select your dog here, go to training. We want to release them, train them and release rather, so they can basically just go attack people. So we would have an attack poodle essentially. Just pretty terrifying if you think about it. Cooking is going to be for the meals, so I don't know if I left a. It's not going to be for butchering. Just keep that in mind. Yeah, I didn't leave a stove. Or on a campfire, you can add a bill to cook a simple meal. This is what your cooks are going to do. So they're going to take raw meat and raw vegetables and combine them and make a meal, which improves mood and prevents the negative mood from eating raw stuff, which is good. Next, we're going to take a look at hunting. This is going to be what you define to hunt. So, for example, if you want to, yeah, let's hunt some IED traps. A better example, if we want to hunt turkeys, we can define that here. You typically want to give someone who has a good shooting skill. And I think that's, oh, yeah, okay, so it shows you relevant skills. It'll show the highest between shooting or melee. And you want to give them a good weapon, probably your survival rifle, and have them go hunt. So she, yep, architect does have it, so architect will hunt first. Not sure what the architect's doing, probably repairing. Yes, repairing sandbags. Speaking of, we have construct and repair next. It's always good to have some of your guys on repair. The skill just affects the speed at which they do it. It doesn't require any materials last time I checked. As you can see, just repairing it doesn't have any materials on them. Yep, just has a survival meal. That's about it. Back in construct, of course, you want to have someone with pretty high skills. That way it doesn't fail as much. You do lose materials if you fail a construction job. There's just a certain percentage associated with their skills. Then we have grow. This is going to be for your growing zones. This is a stockpile zone, so we won't look at that. This is another one. Jeez, why do I keep making these? So if we made like a growing zone here for potatoes or trees or whatnot, someone's going to run out here and plant them real quick. There is some prerequisites on some of these. For example, hot plants require 7, heal root, which is like your herbal medicine, very important, requires 8. Strawberries require 5, but those are the only 3 in the base game. Until you get, I think there's synthetic, I'm not sure. I've got dev mode on, but I can't see it here. There's another 1 or 2 in there, but they just require, I think it's like 8 or 10 level. Next, we're gonna have mining. Doesn't matter. I usually just tell everybody to mine. I usually want to get stuff mined out pretty quick so I can get a building, get them shelter and whatnot. This affects their speed. I also have plant cutting. That's just for cutting down plants. If we go into orders here, we can harvest some berries. I think those are, yep. So we can harvest berries. If we want to just like cut the grass, I'm not sure why you'd do that. I think it increases move speed a little bit. And of course, wherever it's at, just chop wood. Very important as well. So that's assigned to that. Smithing is going to be for your like smithery tables and whatnot. That's going to be for making weapons and certain tools as well. Tailoring is going to be for making different types of clothing, parkas, jackets, dusters, pants. Pretty important as well because you're going to want to replace your clothing. so you don't get that negative penalty. If we just click on here, see that this is at 99%. We just landed, so it won't be that terrible, but after the elements get into the clothing a little bit, then it'll get a little worse. Let's just take a look here. 89%. And like I said earlier, the tailoring, smithing is going to affect the quality of the item as well. So this is, both of these are normal. What just happened? Oh, our horde got hungry and ate someone. Oh, that's not ours. Huh. All right. Go back into the work tab here. Art is going to increase both the colonists making its mood and everyone around it. We can see that this person's real good at it. And then it also has an effect on the beauty of the area. Wow, beauty in here is terrible. My goodness. So, go back into work. Hauling, very important. Getting items to stockpiles, really, really important if you want to keep tabs of what you have. Especially with trading. Like I said earlier, if you redefine this to like critical, then you want to have everyone haul the stuff out there so you can trade it pretty quickly. I don't know why I keep opening architect. Cleaning, this is just going to make colonists run around, and I think the penalty in there is so bad is because I fired off one of those like extinguisher poppers. So it's like -20 right now. Cleaning would have someone run in there and clean all that up. I think that also reduces your chances of getting illnesses, flu, disease, infections, that kind of stuff. And the last one's researching. Of course, you use that with the research bench here. It does take a while, so kind of want to put that on the back burner for maybe a couple days until you get stabilized in your colony. And of course, I just went over restrict animals. Not much here. You can quick select if you want to have them trained for obedience. You can also quick select slaughter if you really feel inclined to. This is just a good way to basically keep track of your animals. This is really great when you have like 20 different cattle, for example, and you want to slaughter some to keep their, use them as food and leather or whatever. So that's about it. Not really too much more to go on here. You can actually as well on the restrict tab here copy these settings over. Oh, click the character. So if I wanted to copy these, I could actually paste it. So if we change something here, maybe reduced work hours in case someone's in a bad mood. See, I just pasted it from that original one. So we'll change it again, copy, paste, and pretty much just do this over. We'll copy that one back. Really nice if you have like 20 different colonists and you want to kind of like set up different work schedules, if that makes any sense. Alrighty, and the last thing I want to go over about is the assign tab here. Now this is a pretty powerful tool that you may not have known about, and it's all about managing outfits when it comes to your characters, but it's not just clothing and whatnot, it's also military gear, and it allows them to change their clothing as they need. For example, if it gets pretty cold, they may throw on a jacket or a parka just to boost their temperature that they can stay out in. Alright, so I took the liberty to cheat in some of these new clothing items here. As you can see, we have 3 parkas, we have a gazelle leather button-down shirt, and we also have some armor vest. So if we go to the assign here, we can see that currently everyone is allowed to wear anything. So we're going to go to manage outfits. Let's go ahead and select an outfit and see what anything is. And as you can see, it's literally anything. Now this looks very familiar to the bills selection as well, along with the stockpile selection. And it's this kind of menu where you can select what you want them to wear. At the top here, we have the hit points. So everything has hit points, as you can see down here. As they get shot and whatnot or get worn, the hit points will go down. And that'll just kind of like tell you how good it is, especially with body armor. As it takes more shots, it'll be reduced, basically like any armor would function. So currently right now they're allowed to basically wear anything they want, but for example, maybe we want our architect to maybe not wear anything. So what we're going to do is we're going to go here, select nudist, and you can watch Mr. Hutch here after he gets done. We'll just do this. First thing he's going to do is he's going to rip off his clothes and throw them in the stockpile. This isn't going to make him very happy because he's not a nudist. So what we're going to do is just assign him to worker here. And basically worker's going to have him wear everything but armor. Let's Looks like he chose the awesome looking vest here, other than his synthetic t-shirt. Kind of funny. So he currently has the worker, which basically does not allow armor vests, personal shields, probably not any combat helmets. Nope. Awesome. So this will prevent him from picking up any military items. And this is really nice when you get someone, for example, who might not want to fight. So we can see... Oh, forgot we put AJ in here. That's funny. Alright, now that AJ's been released, we can see that she actually ran up and picked a parka to put it on. They will trade out better quality clothing as they feel fit. Now if we go into AJ here, we can see that she has a shooting of 0, so we'd probably not use her in combat. So we may want to assign her to wear worker clothes. But if we want, we can actually assign soldier, and we'll see. Yep, we can see she actually already did that on her own. But if we didn't want her to, we could again go back into here, select worker, and after she gets done cutting this tree down, we'll see that she'll drop her armor vest right there. You can also go in here and set new outfits. Let's go ahead and set, we want them to wear pretty much normal to legendary. And we don't want them to wear anything less than 50. We'll call this new gear. And if we set all of them to new gear, you can see that she got rid of this because it's actually awful quality. So she won't put that on. So anyways, this has been a quick overview of pretty much all of the work, restrict, assign, and animals tabs. My next video is going to go over the last half here, which is going to be significantly smaller, which is factions, world, history, statistics, and research. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. My name's been Robo. Leave a comment if you're confused about anything, and constructive criticism is always wanted and necessary to increase these videos. Have a good one.